Welcome to another tech video. So today we're going to be looking at another product from Fideco. This is a docking station that supports a whole range of devices, and it's got a cooling fan on this, so it looks like it's going to be fairly heavy duty. So as you can see, it's the usual Fideco packaging. Comes with lots of instructions telling you about, so for instance, the cable length here, the type of cable, USB Type-C with an A adapter, and so on and so forth. But this is the interesting slide. This is shows you all the different types of drive that it supports. So we've got B+M key, SSD, SATA and NVMe 2880 all the way down to 2230. And the same applies for just an NVMe M key SSD. So again, all of those sizes. It supports 2.5-inch SSD on SATA, 2.5-inch hard disk SATA, and 3.5-inch on SATA as well. So let's have a look at the unit itself. Nice little coloured label here, Fideco. It's a nice touch. Okay, and then opening it up. Okay, so what have we got? We've got a power adapter. So this is a 36-watt adapter, that one. Here we've got our USB Type-C cable with Type A adapter. And then the unit itself, let's have a look at this. Okay, so this comes in a nice packaging bag. Alright, so we've got our SATA connector down here. You can just about see it. SATA connector and our PCIe slot as well. So, not sure, I'm presuming it probably only supports one drive at a time. Let's have a look. So just going through the instructions here. Supports 2.5 or 3.5 SATA HD or SSD, but does not support any IDE. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so it says it's plug and play. No need to install drivers or software. Okay, and importantly, this is good. So they've got a little sentence in here. Do not forcefully remove the storage docking station or storage device to avoid data corruption. So in other words, they want you to eject it properly. Okay. All right, so one drive at a time. This slot here, obviously, 3.5-inch drive. So let's have a look at that. So I've got a selection here. So I've got, let's have a look at the 3.5-inch drive, see how that slots in. That just should go in that way, which it does. Okay, so it's one drive at a time. So that just slots in like that. A 3.5-inch drive. 2.5-inch drive, making sure that you put it in the right way to avoid damaging the ports. And there we go, 2.5-inch drive inserted. And then let's have a look, see if we've got a selection of drives in here. And then we've got some, we've got a M.2 NVMe M key. That will just slot in there like that. Tiny little drive, but still works okay. And a B+M key, which is the dual slot there. And that slots in as well. So straightforward product. Needs power. On the back we've got our power switch, we've got our Type-C connector, we've got our switch to turn the fan on and off, and we've got our 12-volt DC input. Alright, so let's get this hooked up to the PC and see how it fares. Okay, so we've got it plugged in here. Power going into the back of the unit there, USB Type-C connecting in as well. That cable then goes into the PC here. So what I'm going to do first of all is let's try an M.2 drive. Just going to slot that in there. Like that. And then going around the back, we're just going to turn it on. And I'm also going to switch the fan on just to see if it works. Which it does, and it draws air in through the back and blows it out to the front for your fan cooling. And then we can see here straight away that it's popped up with the drive. So let's scroll down and have a look. So it's come up with our E drive. There's an OS on that little M.2 drive. So let's now go ahead and eject this. Okay, so that's ejected it. So now I've ejected it, even with the unit on, let's remove that and let's plug our next drive in and see if anything happens. Okay, so that's promising. So nothing happens, so we've got to switch the unit off, because actually what it's doing, it's looking at this whole unit as a device. So if we switch it back on now, it should recognise that drive, which it does. And again, it's popped up here, local disk E. So there's another operating system on that M.2 drive. So let's now eject that. We can see here it's the RTL 910B-GC. Oh, close it. Okay, and close that, and then eject this. Okay, so that's ejected it. Okay, so now we're going to take our 2.5-inch drive, which goes in the SATA ports like that. Switch it back on. Okay. And as you can see here again, that 2.5-inch hard drive has been detected. It's got stuff on it. So again, that's recognised. Windows 8, that one on there. Close that down. Let's see if we can eject it, or if we need to switch it off. Okay, that's safely done. So again, we can remove that drive. And now I'm going to take this 3.5-inch drive and get that plugged in. Okay, I can hear that spinning up now. Let's check the system. Nothing detected at the moment, so let's switch it off. And switch it back on. And there we go. So again, that's detected. We've got our version of Windows on there. So every drive we stuck in so far has been detected. However, you do need to make sure that you eject it, switch the unit off, plug your drive in, and then switch it back on again. So let's eject that drive. And there we go, safe to remove it. So you can switch the unit off, take the drive out. Okay, so with our 3.5-inch drive that we've got installed, let's have a look and see. Not a lot in here. I don't really want to go in here and copy data, but let's drivers. Okay, let's just copy a couple of folders. Let's do that one and that one. Let's just drag them onto the desktop. Okay, so that's good. That was pretty quick. I haven't got a huge amount of data that I can copy, but I've got no reason to doubt that this won't copy the data across. It is just a docking station at the end of the day. So in terms of the look and feel of this is it's a plastic shell, and it's got little rubber feet on the bottom here, so it's not going to move around on your desk if that's what you want to do. The fan is fixed in there. I'm not sure about what happens when the fan goes pop. I think you probably just replace the unit itself, but if you've got drives that are fairly old and may well be getting warm, I can see that there's a use case for this, having the fan on there. It is fairly noisy, so if it's going to be on your desk, I would say if you're going to be doing a huge amount of data transfer, then you're going to want the fan on, but otherwise you're probably going to be able to leave it off without any trouble at all, without it getting super hot, because you're not going to have any active cooling inside your PC anyway, so in terms of blowing directly onto your drives that are in there. You may well do, obviously, with an M.2 drive, you're probably going to have a heatsink on there anyway. But all in all, it's not a bad little unit. It's well built, does what it says on the tin, which is always great. So, if you found that video useful, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.